Hello, everybody, and welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. On today's episode, we are discussing our Valentine's Day choice winner. Let me pull up my manga real quick. Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku. Joining me today, first, Johnny. Johnny, how's it going today?
I'm doing great, thank you. I just found out that my March break is going to be delayed until April, but besides that, yeah, it's been great, you know.
Good to hear, my man. And joining us, Happy, how's it going?
Yeah, hello. I will be your Patty Mills today because he is not here today. I'm glad to be here.
All right, Happy will be our our young Patty Mills in the flesh, and our moderator for tonight is Miles. Miles, how's it going?
You know, I have to say it's going just fine. I had searched far and wide to do my bit to find a song that I felt encapsulated this show, and I didn't. So we're just gonna have to keep going from here, change things up a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting episode. I'm gonna say this is our first romance, and out of any romance show we picked this one, which is like an adult based. We're again this is about doing quotations romance show because we might have some different disagreements on whether we believe that this is a romance show or not. We have different opinions on characters and everything, so it should be an interesting conversation. I'll say that. Miles, you're our moderator, so whenever you'd like, take it away.
Yeah, sure. So, we watched Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku. We're going to start this the same way we start all of these episodes. We're going to do a quick around the horn. We're going to get people's initial impressions, what they thought going in, if they would recommend the show or not, and then we are going to go into like spoiler zone and just like really dive into the show. So I'm going to start with Johnny. Johnny, what were your thoughts going into the show, and would you recommend it?
Okay, yeah, so going into this show, like, I think I've heard about the show before, but I've never really, like, known too much about it. Like, I think I remember seeing, like, the I like boobs thing somewhere. Like, like that scene, right?
Is that a question? Are you asking us?
like the scene I'm talking about, where like like the girl's like, "Oh no, I have small boobs," and she sees like the figures, like, "Do you like boobs?" And like the main
Oh,
character,
yes,
"Figure."
okay.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm not insane. Okay, good, but yeah. So like, anyways, that's the only thing I knew going into this show. Watched it. It's like it doesn't. How should I put this? Like, if it feels like it's gonna do something different from all the other romance shows I've seen, because I've seen a lot of romance shows, but then first of all, like it's set in like a workplace, so which is different from like a lot of other romance shows which like takes place in high school. So I felt like they would try to do something with that, but like it just, I don't know, just kind of feels like it doesn't. Like they don't really spend too much time on the work life and whatever. In terms of if I would recommend the show or not, I say it's like this kind of show you need to watch a lot of anime to really like get like the jokes and all, because there's a lot of like inside jokes about different animes, like all a bunch of references and stuff like that. So I would only recommend this to someone who's like already a fan of anime, I guess. But yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay, that sounds good. And Happy, how about you?
Okay, so this is pretty much the first quote unquote romance anime that I've finished, and it was fine. I don't really have super strong feelings about it, but I would say once you've exhausted all your other anime options, watch this show. But it's not that special, I feel.
Okay,
Okay,
wow,
I
hot
think
take.
yeah, that's a good take, Happy. Pete, you do think the show is special, so let's go into that real quick.
You can't see me, but I'm holding up all four of my volumes of Wotakoi Love is Hard for an Otaku because I love this show. I've seen it. I've read it twice, and this would be my second time watching it. And I think the more you get involved in this, like, if you're a fan of like the anime community, if you're a fan of the otaku culture, the more that you get involved in those type of things, I think the more this show resonates with people. So if you're like, I'm gonna jokingly say this term, if you're a normie, I feel like this show is not for you. If you are like an anime fan, if you're a fan of romance, if you're especially a fan of like adult romance slash slice of life type of style shows, I think this is one of the better ones on the market, if not the best. But I will also say that it is very limited on based on that because we have so few adult based romances that we kind of have to like put something on a pedestal, and I think a lot of people put Wotakoi on that pedestal for adult romances.
Okay, that's good. So my initial thoughts were I was excited going into this. I knew that, Pat and Pete really like the show. I generally trust their opinions. Um, but you know what they say, never meet your heroes.
Oh,
And
thank you.
never never watch Wotakoi. Um, I don't think I liked the show. I liked some of the stuff that Pete was talking about. There's like a lot of good in jokes. Like obviously, if you're watching this podcast, you're gonna like some of the humor and the references and stuff. There's a lot of otaku and nerd culture bits in there that are fun. Um, but like as far as the actual relationships between the characters, I thought they were not very fleshed out, and then like borderline problematic in some cases. So we'll go into it more. I think that if you want like a nerd comedy, then this show could be for you. Like if you just want like sort of like a sketch comedy that involves some people who are nerds and like otaku and like anime and shit, like great show for that. Honestly, it is very funny at parts. If you want like a romance in any way, I think it's severely lacking, to be honest. So that would be my suggestion for people going forward.
And that's where we're going to disagree, because the things that you don't find as a quote like romance, I do, and I think a lot of other people do as well. So people, if you're on my side, come along, get on my back. If you don't think this is like an actual romance, side with Miles and everybody else.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess we're going to go into spoilers now, and we'll start off. So the general premise of the show is that there are, I guess, like two main characters and four like main characters, I guess. So the main couple is Narumi and Hirotaka. They are old childhood friends who reunite when she switches jobs after a breakup, I believe.
Correct.
Yes. So she is sort of embarrassed to be a nerd. She, tries to hide it or whatever, but Hirotaka knows that she is because they were childhood friends. They go out for drinks, and they end up dating from there. He's like, "Hey, like, you could be yourself around me. Want to date me?" And she's like, "Let's go." Um, so they go from there. They meet another otaku couple at work. One of them is their boss, whose name is Taru, and then his girlfriend named Hanako. She does cosplaying, and he's like, I guess, like kind of the most normie of them. Like he likes manga and stuff. I don't know. He didn't have a bit unless I missed it.
He liked like Yuri and Moe stuff.
Yeah, he likes like cute girls doing cute things and stuff, but he wasn't like he didn't seem as identity in it. Like he hit it
yeah.
more.
The other people felt like
He also likes her manga sensei, so
oh yeah.
Yes.
man of
And
culture.
yes, an absolute man of culture. And so that's sort of the premise. Not a lot happens other than that. You literally just see them like be put into various nerd scenarios and see how they interact, or like various relationship scenarios, I guess, and like see what happens as they learn that love is hard for an otaku. So I guess we had a lot of discussion throughout the week about the two different couples. They're fairly different couples. And so I think a good thing to talk about is like, did anyone have one they resonated with more? Did they like both of them? Like, what were your guys' thoughts on the two main couples that we saw? And their, I guess, romantic chemistry is what I'll say. Like, did you buy them as a couple? Did you enjoy that aspect of the show? And we'll just keep going clockwise from my point of view as we have been. So, Johnny, what are your initial thoughts on that?
Okay, so like romantic chemistry is there any? Well, anyway, it's like I don't know. It just feels like they're just like act like friends. Like honestly, when I was watching this first 3 episodes, I straight up did not know that Hanako and Toru were dating because I don't think they made it like they didn't make it that clear that they were. So I was like, wait, they were dating this whole time? Like, okay. And then yeah, like they don't really feel like they were like that much of a couple. They just felt more like friends, like in the few scenes where they were like being romantic, I guess. I don't know. I didn't feel like they were that much of a couple.
The secondary couple,
No, both of them. Like
both just like both couples.
yeah, both like they didn't really
Okay.
feel like.
So I felt like Hanako and Taru were a couple. Like I got that impression from them, a dysfunctional one, mind you, but a couple nonetheless. Like they have that like scene where they were going to go do something together, and then he's like, "Hey, like, you want to come over?" And she's like, "Well, I guess we can like do whatever it was later because they're going to go bang or whatever." So, she has to like go get her overnight bag and stuff, and like when you like the way I saw them fighting reminds me of like my friends who are in like relatively shitty relationships.
Yep.
Where they always like
which one
fight with Taro and Hanako. The way they fight.
Those two like they felt like.
Yeah, you have to like care about each other
abusive.
to fight. Yeah, I mean, I think it is abusive. I mean, Taro like calls Hanako like an ugly hag constantly, and just like talks about. I mean, really just like demeans her looks and stuff. So, I thought that was like it was a lot for me to deal with. Happy, what are your thoughts on the two couples?
So I would agree with you. I found the crap. Hold on. I just clicked off the character page. I found Koyanagi and Kabakura to be more believable as a couple. Momose and Nifuji I found to be more comedy driven. And I get what you're saying when you say that it's a what was the word you used? Destructive?
Dysfunctional?
I'm sorry.
Abusive?
Okay, yes. It is very dysfunctional, but I feel like they at least grew in their relationship.
Yeah,
And
I
if
agree.
we had a season 2, I feel like it would have grown more. So, and I didn't hate the other couple. It's just um I feel like Momose and Nifuji were more
Sorry, you cut out there. More what?
oh, sorry, comedy
No worries.
driven.
Oh, comedy driven? Yeah, I do. I agree with that. Like, right? Like, a lot of it was on, like, their differing expectations, I guess, for, like, what a relationship would be based off of Mimosa's, like, previous relationships, because she had dated people before, and I don't think Nifuji had. And so like her expecting him to act like her previous boyfriends in a bit, but then he like like there's a part where she thinks that he wants her to come over so that they can sleep together or whatever, but he just wanted to play Mario Kart. So there's like a bunch of stuff like that is played for bits and stuff. Now, Pete, you said you were big on the romance on this.
Yes.
Sell these couples for us. What do you got?
Well, I think it's just how people determine like what romance is. I think somebody maybe like you, Miles, because we were talking about this before, that you like the chase more than like the result. And in this case, it's solved episode 1 that both pairs are couples by the end of episode 1. So the chase is essentially over, and it's whatever happens next. Now, for me personally, like for like if I want like a date, like I loved like going to like I don't know, let's go chill by the lake and read or something like that. Like to me that's like kind of romantic. Or in their case, like, hey, come over and let's play Mario Kart. And it's just something simple like that where like those are romantic things to like other people, and it's just like getting to know each other, getting comfortable in each other's skin. I'm obviously leaning more towards Narumi and Hirotoka in this situation, since the established couple of Taru and Hanako is kind of established like right away. So I really enjoyed like their romantic aspects of their relationship, because it starts out as more of like a convenience thing between the two, and then it kind of blooms from there. You definitely see them being more comfortable romantically down the road, where in the beginning it just seems like they're just friends. While the romantic aspect of Hanako and Taru is super toxic. They are a terrible couple. They should break up. They don't. Spoilers in the manga. There's still a couple in the manga. So depending on how you like them, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. They reminded me of, especially like Taru, who is like their manager of their whole things. I feel like he should have had like I felt like the personality of the manager of who runs their whole, I don't know, let's say sector of their business would not be the type of person to call his girlfriend like old hag 24/7. I didn't get those vibes from him, and it kept like throwing me off because to me, I guess when I know people in like higher power, they're like respectable and like presentable and like kind, and it's just like this dude was just like a super dick to Hanako, and Hanako
But
should
just
leave
to
his ass.
her, right?
Yeah,
Because like he diplomatically handles other scenarios.
Yeah, he does it with like Hirotaka and like some other situations where like he
He's
doesn't
kind of rude to Hirotaka.
kind of, but it's more like a
But like,
buddy
it's never
buddy
in
thing.
a way where like it's never in a way where like you're trying to hurt him. It's just like it's like, dude, you're kind of being a dick, like that
Yeah.
kind of way.
It's like if you don't make fun of your best friends, like they're not your best friend type of thing. So it's like I felt like he was buddy buddy with Hirotaka with like these, I don't know, we can call them like comments that he makes towards him. And it never comes off as like hostile or something like along those territories. But when it's with like Hanako, if you call your girlfriend an old hag, like I hope she like leaves you, you get your ass beat. Unless she's
she
into
starts crying.
Yeah, she
at one
starts
point.
just multiple times. She is like very distraught, and like how they resolve their fights, I felt are like kind of bullshit too. Just like, buy me this figurine and I'll dress up as, or I'll read like a yaoi manga and then we'll be cool. And just like, man, that's like putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. It's just like you're really not solving anything. Like, hey, you'll die in a minute instead of a minute and 1 second. I don't know. I had an issue with them, but not to say that I didn't enjoy the show, because there's a lot of aspects I did enjoy. Like I did enjoy Taru and Hanako when they weren't fighting. It's just when they were fighting, it was awful. Like I hate it. It's just like unforced or forced drama that like didn't need to be needed or like in the show. I feel like there's other ways to like make those characters, you know, like because behind the scenes they seem like normal people, but they're like deep down otaku. Where Hirotoka is like in your face otaku. He plays games at work and stuff like that. So it's just like how they're presented. I felt could have been done better.
Yeah.
And that was more of like what took me away from some aspects of the show.
So I think like Taro and Hanako were meant to juxtapose with Narumi and Hirotaka, because you see Hirotaka like wondering, like seeing that they're fighting, wondering if he should be, you know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't.
He's clueless.
He is clueless, and it wasn't done in a frustrating way for me. I often hate clueless characters, but he seems to like genuinely put forth an effort most of the time. He asks her out like immediately, which is nice. And so 1 second, I need to cough.
Miles is suffering from COVID.
Yeah, I'm suffering. No, I'm fine. But
My bad.
like he needed sort of like a guiding hand to learn like the basic principles of the relationship. Like I feel like he was treading water, and I feel like Narumi was just sort of waiting for him to take the lead because that's what she was used to, and that sort of made the relationship feel stagnant for me. Like you said that, you know, like going to the lake and reading together is nice. That's super nice. That's great. You know, I do like the chase. It's a fun part of the whole thing. I have been dating the same girl for 4 years and we're getting married now. So I do like the other part as well. So it's just that when they flash back on their dates, they would like go to a manga shop together and then go to different sections.
That's true. That's true.
Right? So like they didn't hang out together. Like a lot of it was just based off their ability to be themselves around each other, which is very good. That is a very you need that in a relationship, but you also have to do things together. You can't just be like, okay, well, I'm okay telling you that I'm like a Fujoshi, but I'm gonna go do that over here, then like come back with you later. It would be nice if, you know, like you could browse together, or like you even see like, because like Taru doesn't like the like yaoi stuff, right? So, but he and her and Hanako like read together. You see them by themselves, just like both reading manga and stuff together, which is what I feel like you were talking about, and I don't think we saw a ton of that with Narumi and Hirotaka.
Yeah, So my like counterpoint to that is like when to me, Narumi and Hirotaka's like relationship starts as to me as like a convenience more than like an actual like romantic relationship. And that's like episode 3 when they go to like the manga shop, and I feel like they're still developing, getting past the point of them being childhood friends and them actually being boyfriend and girlfriend. I think you can complain about like what they shouldn't have been in a relationship in the first place, but I think that's just part of the story of them moving past them being friends and then actually developing. So to me, when they like separated, they're still in like that awkward phase, because I went through this in real life when I dated my best friend. And the first time we started dating, it was super weird because I didn't know how to just not be like her. I was so used to being her friend. Now I have to be her boyfriend, and I didn't know how to act, and it didn't work out. And then we ended up dating later, and it was fine. But like, I think it's just, I think because I've had like a realistic experience of something like that, I don't think that like what they did was like crazy. I think it's just them coming into like just being more comfortable with each other in a different sense.
Okay, so I can I pry into your prior relationship?
Bring it on. Let's go. I'm an open book.
Let's go. Let's get into it. So like, when I'm friends with people, we do things together.
Yeah.
But like we don't make out, right? So when I start
we have
dating
different
someone,
friends, right?
Yeah, fair enough. So like when I start dating someone, we do things together like we're friends, but like also sometimes we make out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
correct.
The difference. So like with you, was the difference like you guys were still hanging out, but like doing the more physical aspects of it were strange, or maybe the more like soul bearing that you would do? You know what I mean? Like that sort of trust thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even seem to me like Hirotaka and Narumi are like best friends or anything, because they don't do things together when they're not in the group of 4 people.
Yeah, because they have like that relationship of being, I guess it's kind of like when they grow older, they like, you lose touch with some of like your high school friends and stuff like that, but like you still have like the memories and the relationships with those people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what they had, because to me, they probably spent like 17 years of their life together or something like that as like friends, and then transitioning from friends to being like more like, for me, the biggest thing was being more physical. Like,
Yeah.
like it was weird. Like I wanted to like make out with this person, but like the most we've ever done in like being 3 years of friends was like hug. So like to me that was weird. Like,
yeah, because at some point during your friendship, it was like you probably did like took a while to realize the romantic feelings, right? So you were like, "Oh, making out with my best friend is weird because they're my best friend."
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
and like it's just like, I guess like this is also, by the way, this is when I was like 16, so like this wasn't last week.
I can't believe this happened last week.
Oh, I know, right? No, it's just like coming. It's a big thing, because especially for like me, who I host an anime podcast. Like I'm a giant fucking nerd. Like I feel like it's different for each person, and that's why I resonate so much with Hirotaka, because like I felt that way at one point in my life. Just for him, it's when he's 26, and for me, it was when I was 16. So you can take that as it is, but it's just everybody's different, and I don't know if this is his first girlfriend.
I think it is.
I
Can
think
I
it
try
is
to?
too.
Because it implies that he was never over her a few times.
He does say like she's his true love or something like that.
Well, he also got ear piercings because at some point he saw her in college dating a guy with ear piercings.
Yeah.
So yeah. Can I try to like? Okay. I don't want to say I know you and your love life better than you do.
I mean, you might.
But at one
NPR?
point, you have told me while we've just been talking,
Yep.
that like you'll often like date a girl and they'll like know you're a nerd,
Yes.
but they don't get that you're like a nerd.
Yes.
You know what I
yes.
mean? Right?
It's the biggest. It's girls love nerdy guys. They do. They oh, you like whatever. Oh, I've seen like, oh, I watched Dragon Ball as a kid. That's so cool and everything like that. And it's like, that's one thing. And then I'm like a whole other level.
Yeah. So do you think that like, because I don't see the parallel between the two things you were talking about, but I do see a parallel between that right?
Yep.
Finding someone who just accepts you for being this fucking giga nerd, right? And
what a nice way to put. I know. It's a great way to put it. It's funny.
So and that is what their relationship is based off of, accepting each other's nerdiness, essentially.
Yes, that's a huge thing.
And so you have had some issues with that, right?
There's a reason why I'm single right now.
Yeah. So do you think that's like part of the reason you like this relationship, because it shows like a success story of something you've personally had some issues with?
Well, I actually, it's not even that. I think going forward in my life, that's going to be a thing. Like, I've dated my last girlfriend. She's great. Shout out to Kayla if she's listening. She liked like nerdy things, but like it was how I did it was like a completely different level. And now going forward, like I think at this stage in my life, I don't think I can like legit date somebody unless they have very similar like similarities with me. Like, try telling a girl at 29 you can't go hang out on a Saturday night because you're raiding in WoW or something like that. Like, do you think a normal girl would like that? Because to me, I think the answer is straight up absolutely not. But if you are oh, sorry, Miles. But like if you're dating a girl who plays WoW, like she would probably understand. Like, obviously I don't do this all the time, but like, I mean, it's the winter and we're in COVID. Like, I'll spend my nights Saturday nights playing WoW. Like, who cares? Like, there's nothing else to do. But like, I think to a lot of people that's a giant deal, and I don't think I could date somebody unless they also have something similar like that or understand like something like along those lines, where it's just like, hey, like I have book club on Tuesday or something like that. Like I can't hang out. I'll be like, I understand. I have my podcast on Monday, so it's like, it's very interesting. I'll put it that way.
Do you have a camera in my house? What is this?
Does Kayla do book club on Tuesdays?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. So okay. Well, we've taken a lot of time there, Pete. I mean, I do want to say that I agree with you on that. I feel like they found the first person who was like chill with them being a nerd and just like went with it.
Oh, the settling is definitely an issue. Yeah.
And there's like lots of people that will accept you if you're like a super nerd. Like tons of them. They're just all over the place.
They're on Discord, but not at the bars.
They're in. Well, yeah, but that's why you got to meet them at not Discord.
Yo, shout outs.
We're
going
bars.
Anime New York in November. We'll be there as long as COVID hasn't destroyed society.
This is Pete trying to, if you're a nerdy single girl and you want to date Pete, go to
Are there hot
Anime New
weebs
York
in your area?
Yeah.
Click now.
It is. Okay, so the people that haven't said anything, sorry that we talked so long. Johnny or Happy, do you guys like, what are your thoughts on, I guess, like that foundation of the relationship? Do you think that that is enough, or do you like think that they probably should have developed a little bit more? I know we've sort of been over this a little bit, but like, I guess iterate on that a bit.
Okay, so I guess I'll go. But
Okay, John.
do you want to go? Okay.
No, you can go. Good job.
Johnny, you go.
Okay. God.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, don't worry. So like the thing you say, like character development, like I personally think there was very little, if any, character development in this show, which I honestly I think this is the reason why there's so few like romance animes that take place that have people who are not in high school, because in high school is when like you change the most as a person, and that's usually what happens in romance shows. Like it's like coming of age, like and I think that's what I usually look for, is like I want to see people change. I want to see them develop and change as the show progresses. In this show, like there's a very small amount of character development, and while like I think it's like a normal relationship, I just don't think it's like that interesting of a relationship, which is why like I'm not really that attached to the characters. So I guess that's what I have to say.
Okay, I don't think it's a normal relationship. I described their relationship to Kayla and like had her rate the relationship like on a scale of 1 to 10. She gave it a 3. Like I agree. Like they don't show affection for each other. I'm not saying that like it's not normal to like be like stable like they are. Like that's like a good thing, and like what you're saying about the whole coming of age thing makes sense. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I find their relationship super dull. I just
Oh yeah,
don't
no, it's
feel
dull.
like they
I'm
care
just,
about each other.
I'm
Like,
saying it's dull. I'm saying it's like it's. I don't feel like it's unrealistic. It's like people
oh.
sometimes do act like that. I just.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I hope everyone out there, if you're in a relationship and you're just not feeling a spark anymore, find a new relationship. There's more fish in the sea. Happy, did you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, so for me, I would say I think I agree with both of you, but I'd also say that um I feel like this is a more positive portrayal of otaku dating than what we get in other anime like
That's super fair.
Oremo, for instance.
The,
So I
the,
like that
the
aspect of it
Oreos
at
are.
least.
What are you saying?
Shut up, Johnny. But yeah, so I at least enjoyed that aspect of it.
No, and I think that's good. I mean, I agree with that. That like, I think with relatively minor tweaks, they're a great couple. Like, to be honest, like if they just act slightly more coupley, um, like any percent more coupley, then I think I would like them a lot more because I like both the characters a lot. I just feel like when you put them together, it's super inert. There's no reaction going on. Bad chemistry. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to, you know, drag on too long about that.
I do want to say like one thing about this specifically about being more coupley, and you guys won't be able to see it, but I'm gonna show a thing in the manga that they're way more coupley in the manga, and I don't understand why they don't like emphasize that in the anime. And normally
It's
I'm
for comedic purposes,
I know, but
probably.
like I'm normally like anime first. If you are a fan of Wotakoi, you need to read the manga. The manga is so much better, and
Okay, see,
they elaborate on their relationship so much more in terms of like physical and like actually being a couple. And it's just really not shown in the anime. It's
okay.
kind of frustrating.
And so like I know I'm like so like if people watching this don't know, like I don't read manga, but I honestly agree with you that this would legitimately probably work better as a manga because for me like episodes have any like structure towards each other, like there's no overall plot. It's just like a bunch of like clips. Like you could take all these episodes, put them in random order, except for like the first three
Yep.
episodes
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
and they'll
Yeah.
still all make perfectly like normal sense.
Yeah, pretty close. I think so too. Yeah, but just like for an example, when they go to the manga shop and they like split up, but like in the manga, they're like holding hands the entire way to the show or to like.
That's crazy.
I know, right? Like, why wouldn't you put
Okay,
that in the manga
because like
or
in
the anime?
Why would they change that?
episode 9 of the anime, they like try to hold each other's hand
It's like
and are like
awkward.
super weird about it. Like they haven't, and like they kiss once in this show and they hold hands once in this show, and it's just there's so many things that make me. Oh god, I'm going to talk about the restaurant scene.
Yeah, go
I
for
have
it.
to. And then let's talk about like references and stuff. Let's talk about all that because there's a lot of good stuff in the show. I don't want to harp on the negatives, but there's a scene in an episode where the two guys go out to dinner with coworkers, and the two girls are out to dinner with themselves, having like a ladies' night or whatever. So the girls are talking about their yaoi ships and who should be on top and who should be on bottom. It's a fun bit. They're like arguing. It's funny. They start talking about like who would be who if their like boyfriends started dating each other. I particularly found that fun. The guys are with their work friends. Their work friends start talking about their girlfriends without knowing that they're dating the women. They then are being like, I don't know, relatively disrespectful, like talking about how attractive they are, how hot they are, like, oh, like what's her name has such big boobs and da 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 da, and I really want to like get in there, like that sort of thing. So they just sort of like sit there and listen for a while. Like, you know, at some point you should probably just be like, hey, like that's my girlfriend, by the way. So what happens is, oh god, what's his name? Taro is like, if these girls did have boyfriends, or they do have boyfriends, if their boyfriends were here, they probably wouldn't appreciate you speaking about them like this. So maybe you should stop. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a rather diplomatic way to go about this, but sure. Whatever. So then they come out of the restaurant And the girls walk up to him like they're coming from their restaurant. They just happen to be passing each other, and I'm like, this is going to be great. They're going to find out that they're dating each other, because when couples interact with each other, you generally can tell they're dating. If they say, "Oh, hey, honey," or they hug each other, or give someone a kiss on the cheek. There's like ways to tell people are dating through any number of context clues.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be super embarrassed because they're going to realize that they were talking about these people's girlfriends in such a manner in front of their boyfriends. And then they walk by, the other guys ask them to go get a drink, and the girls are like, no, we're going to go do some more like girl stuff, and then leave. And then no one ever finds out that any of this happened. And I just couldn't. It was too much for me. I thought that was the most fucking ridiculous thing I had ever seen. Stand up for yourself, like, a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't believe in all of that, like, alpha, beta bullshit, but, like, be a little bit assertive. Be 10% assertive. Don't just be a doormat. Like, my God. Just, come on. I couldn't say, like, that was part of that, like, encapsulated their relationship to me, where he was like too embarrassed or something or shy or whatever to even say they were dating. Like, what? I don't know. Does anyone have thoughts on that scene?
Okay.
I hate that scene.
Okay, so I fucking hated it too, but also how I understand like it's a very professional workplace and all, but like don't you at least see like hints that they're dating? Like you see them like talking to each other, they sit next to each other during lunch, like they hang out, like can't people like you work with these people, right? Can't you at least like assume that something's going on between these people? Like even if you don't know they're dating, like you would assume that they're like at least friends. So why would you like say all that stuff without like them if you like presumably see them every day in the workplace? Like it just seems so absurd that they like don't assume that like these guys have any connection to those girls. Like that's just so weird for me.
Yeah, well, it makes me think that at work they must be like, we must see every interaction with them at work. Like the 7 minutes collectively throughout the series that we see them like talking to each other at work is like couples. That's probably the only time they've ever done that.
Yeah, and
like,
also like,
and that's just why everyone thinks nothing of it.
like doesn't he wait for her after work because she's always like overtime? Like does no one notice?
Well, they might have already left work.
Everybody there just like completely unaware.
They don't suck at work, so
yeah. And also like another thing, like so like I was trying to think of like examples of like other characters that like do this kind of thing better, where like they're like established couples, and like I just thought of it, like I think Tonikawa does that so much better because like once they start like. Because like once they get past the part of like, oh shit, I'm married, like they actually act like a couple, and like it's still like a lot of that stuff of like they're like comfortable around each other, but like,
agreed.
Like Miles, did you watch Tonikawa?
I didn't, but I had heard that it does this sort of thing well.
So. Yeah, so Pete, you know what I'm trying to say? Like they act like a lot more.
They act like a married couple. Like I mean, yeah, for sure. Like they hold each other's hands and like kiss each other and stuff. And
like they don't make a big deal out of it.
They don't. It's great. It's a great show. You should watch Tonikawa.
Yeah, you should, Miles. Best OP of the year.
Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know. I've got my frustrations out about the couples in this and how I hate them.
Let me ask you this question, Miles. If Hirotaka is into NTR, then is the scene any better?
So, if Hirotaka is into NTR, what we need to do, right, is find the supercut of this show, go right to the fucking Louvre, and put it on the wall. So that's what I would say.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah, right next to other high art.
High art.
High art.
Yeah, it's we have like the fucking Last Supper, and then just Wotakoi, like right there.
Yes.
Specifically the dinner scene.
Don't say poster. We need that right next to it.
Yeah. So let's talk about like the references and stuff. Pete, you said you had a list of things.
I do have a list. This is
okay,
all
you go through the list and then we can talk about which ones we like.
Yeah, so
City or whatever.
I'm gonna know fuck all of these.
Yeah, you will. So one thing I loved about this show is the references that they make. I think because of maybe like copyright issues, they can only do some real anime and some fake anime because the yaoi stuff that they used, I don't recognize any of the yaoi, but some of just like the normal anime that they reference or manga that they reference in the show are like real anime, and some are actually coming like next season. So when they reference Taru liking like Yuri, they show Yuri. When they are at, I think like near a movie theater, it's the How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend movie poster is like outside, kind of like a Perfect Blue thing, where like you see like clips of Satoshi Kon's like other arts or other movies at like a movie theater type of thing. They also had Ancient Magus Bride. My Senpai is Annoying, which is getting like an anime I think next season. It's discussing to call this love, which I also think is coming out next season. Magical Girl Senpai, which is the big tittied magic instructor. Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball were all referenced in that episode, and I was like, I need to make a list because this is the shit that I love, and I could see you not, if you're not like into that type of stuff, that this is just like whatever they're just like listing anime or looking at this type of manga. But to me, I loved it. It was fantastic. I loved that scene. Then they separated, and I hated it, but you know, for the most part, it was a really good episode.
That was good. There was like a Kaiji reference I remember, along with the JoJo's Bizarre
Oh yeah,
Adventure
the
reference.
faces. They make the faces.
Yes, and they quote the show as well
reference.
when they're going through it, which is why they had to donate like 500 yen or whatever in another awful episode where they decide not to be themselves for a day and try to like go on a date with each other without talking about all of their interests.
Yeah, a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. At the end, they learned the right lesson, so whatever. They also had a best girl discussion about Evangelion, which I think is like just like quintessential best girl topic, right? Like Rei versus Asuka is probably like not the thing that started it, but like I would say
probably,
like
honestly, it probably is.
Yeah, up there.
And everyone knows Masato is best girl anyway.
Yeah,
so
and everyone says, you have that one guy who's like, well, I like Masato the most, and then
because we're cultured, baby. Masato
Ray sucks.
But then you had what? Oh my God, what's the rebelled girl's name?
Mari. It's Mari.
Mari, yes, and then so someone liked Mari the most, which honestly,
that's just a bad
worst
take.
opinion of all
yeah,
time.
that's just a bad take.
Let's not.
That's like liking Nina and Code Geass. Like, you're wrong.
Fucking did my boy Toji dirty. So there was a ton of stuff like that. Johnny, Happy, did you have any references that like stood out to you that you were like, oh, like I really like this particular one?
Castlevania.
Oh, there's a Castlevania reference? Oh, they were playing it at one point, right?
No, they weren't playing it. It was when I think episode 2 or 3, one of Momose tried to leave and Fuji blocked her, and then it played the Castlevania death music.
Oh,
you were playing Castlevania the other day, right? Is that who I'm remembering playing Castlevania? Was it you, Happy?
It was, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I love Castlevania. Like Metroidvania games are awesome, and so I missed that though. That's really neat. There's a lot of good game references and stuff too. Like a whole bunch of like visual novel stuff they did because the main character like sort of viewed his entire life as if he was in a dating sim, but that's neither here nor there. Johnny, did you have any references you liked?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too young to like get lost. So like I knew when they were trying to make references, I just didn't get them. That's
yeah.
Did you get the JoJo's one at least?
Of course. Okay. Who doesn't get the JoJo references? It's literally right in your face.
I do want to say he says he has to catch a Blissey, and I don't think Wild Blissey appear in Pokemon Go. In the manga, it's a Dragonite, so manga 10 out of 10 and anime 0 out of 10.
Was he talking about like in real life, or was he saying like in the game? Because I don't even think in game you can only find Chanseys. So
yeah, you can't find a Wild Blissey, and he was saying in game. So they didn't do the research.
Yeah, like 0 out of 10 show. Like
just throw it in the dumpster. What is this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't. There's a bunch of references and stuff. They are super fun. And the characters, I think, like while they're in groups of 4 and like just being a group of nerd friends are super fun and have good chemistry. Like the friendship chemistry is great. So, if you enjoy Easter eggs, right? Like if you watched Ready Player One and you were like, "Wow, I wish there was Ready Player One Easter egg level things, but for nerds and shit," then, well, for I guess more anime sort of related stuff, then this show's for you. There's tons of them all over the place. I'm sure there's dozens I missed, and there were dozens I saw. So it's really cool for that if you enjoy picking that sort of deal out.
There's one thing I do want to talk about that I think everybody
Yes.
can agree on is how great the OP is and the ED.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, they're good.
I love the OP. Okay, the OP is the most coupley they act. But I loved it. Like their little like choreographed dance things that they did together, and like the other couple were like she like puts her like hands and like does the thing like giving him like horns, and he like tilts his head with it. It's just the most. It fills me with joy and comfort, and
It's
I
that
just feel like
serotonin fix that you needed,
life
baby.
is going to be okay when I
Yes.
watch the OP. Um, it is fantastic. The ED is fine.
I really like the ED as well.
So like the thing is, like I like the ED, like, but the thing is, since I was watching it on Amazon Prime, the subtitles like they just I don't know if like the translations are right, but I don't know, the lyrics just sounded like really like.
It sounded like I was talking about the show. It was like, yeah,
Yeah,
we might
okay,
not
yeah,
be
I'm just gonna- yeah,
like a
like-
couple that is good or anything, but I
Like
guess
honestly,
we're here.
it just sounds cringy. Like that's what it was to me. Like I used it. Like I used the word. Like it just sounds cringy. I'm sorry.
I guess I wasn't looking at the lyrics. I was just like bobbing my head to the song because
Yeah, I guess you were just vibing. I guess.
I was
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
I was out here
yeah.
vibing, baby.
It's like very like this is entirely in Japanese, so I can't translate it. But like it's basically like, yeah, nothing's changed since we were friends. Like, are we even dating? Like, who knows? And I'm just like, yeah, these are good questions. You guys should be inspecting this.
Questions that will never be answered.
I think by the end of it, they like I'm comfortable with them dating, and I feel like they've gotten there. Like, but I also think that could have taken 2 episodes.
Okay, yeah. So like, so it's like Watakoi did in 11 episodes what Horiyama did in 2, basically.
Yeah, I do want to talk about really quickly the brother now.
Now Chan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Ko. And they
I did not like him. I'm sorry. Like,
oh, see,
I
like
did not like him.
Oh, I
really
love them.
I love him because he's like just such a genuine person. He's like, I want to like have friends and stuff, and like they're like, oh, do you like nerd things? And he's like, not in particularly. But he like wanted to be friends with he does't know it's a girl. This girl. But like
Wait, it's a girl.
Yeah, Ko's a girl.
That's like that's a whole bit.
The whole bit is he calls her Ko-kun, which is something like you call a guy.
Yeah,
When
it's like how
I think you're supposed to call her like Ko-chan.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So that's why like Mion and Higurashi calls Kechi K-chan, and it's like derogatory. So, but like, I thought their like potential relationship was so much more interesting than either of the main couples, because like you have 2 people like going out of their comfort zone in order to do something. Like he doesn't like nerd stuff, and she has probably never spoken to another human being ever, and like is just learning how to form words. So she like writes that like strategy guide for him, which probably took her like a lot of courage, because that's like a gift she's giving someone, and she was like so socially awkward. And so like watching them like try to do things that were out of their own comfort zone in order to like establish a friendship with each other was cool. I also liked how she was someone who was like a loner, but when someone approached her and wanted to be her friend, she was like willing to go for that, right? Like that was a lot of people are happy being alone, but she decided to like go for it and like try to have a friend. I just like really, I don't know, I really like that. I don't know if, and Johnny, why didn't you like him?
Okay, so like it's not that I didn't like him. It's just that I'm like, he just seemed fake. If you get what I'm trying to
Wow,
say. Like,
really? I thought he was
Really?
like
I
the
think
most
he's like the most genuine
genuine
person
person
in the entire show.
like by a
genuine.
mile.
I know he's genuine, but like the way he talks and the way he acts, it just makes me think, like, okay, he's gonna fucking snap any second and just go on a fucking rampage or something.
You think he's like a villain of some sort that's like hiding his persona?
Like, you know, it's like, you know, like those people who like you never expect to be
Like
like
he's
complete.
too wholesome. Like,
Yeah, like,
it's
that's what I
just
mean, like,
too. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like too. It's like you feel like something's gonna snap.
Yeah. So like I.
That is a hot take, by the way. That was a very hot take.
Yeah. I mean, I understand because he's like maximum level wholesome. He's basically
No,
just a golden retriever as a human being.
he's not going to do that. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't feel right with me.
Yeah, I guess
someone's
I don't know.
just nice.
I really liked him. He just seemed like he like really cared about his brother, and he like really cares about like his friends and stuff, and like he also, this is another thing, takes care of his brother, we learned, because his brother is incapable of cooking for himself or buying himself toilet paper or doing anything. And that is just enabled the entire show.
Yeah, like just a side note, like, cooking's not that hard. Like,
No,
come on,
it's not, I can't cook,
everyone should know how to do it.
but like I can get by, you know, like I'm not
Like,
making
you can survive. Like,
yes. Or even if you can't cook, or take the 10 seconds, order some takeout. Like, you know, like
or just buy instant noodles. I mean,
he's
like,
the salary man. He had instant noodles. He didn't make them. His girlfriend had to cook the instant rice for him because he passed out because he hadn't ate food in 3 days. And then everyone was like, "Wow, that's so nice of you to like resuscitate your boyfriend who almost died because he was busy playing JRPG." Anyways,
Hey, but the good thing about that, Miles, though, is that now Narubi gets to see Hirotaka's penis.
yes, yeah, that was, oh my god, and then she was like she wasn't comfortable around him naked. You've been dating for months.
they've literally never seen, like, they've, like, I'm pretty sure it's throughout the whole show, like, he's probably the only thing that he's seen her wear, except for when they went to like the theme park, gets her like workout fit. I'm pretty sure.
God, like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, it fucking in my middle school relationships moved faster and they didn't get anywhere. So like,
you flash your dick to middle schoolers.
Wait,
no.
what? Whoa.
No,
no.
when you were in middle school,
He
not
doesn't,
now.
he doesn't have the Aromaga Sensei's poster in his background. That's the other guy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
We have someone with an Aromaga Sensei poster?
No, in the show.
In the show
yeah,
he does.
yeah. Okay, yeah. At least they bang. That's all I got.
Did they though?
The other couple for sure bangs.
Yeah, they bang for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just have like a scene. They don't like say like let's go bang, but they have a scene where it's like, oh, you want to go, do that thing with the.
Do you think they argue over who he gets to be on top?
I
don't know.
I don't know. I learned a whole lot about like yaoi fan culture from this, and I actually thought that
Oh
was kind
yeah,
of neat.
I wish we had like a food.
This is like
Fujoshis.
the way. The way I was introduced to anime was from yaoi fangirls.
Really?
That's
super fun.
That's a podcast
like
episode.
Yeah, no, because like I just heard like these girls like talking about like animes and I want like
Yeah,
Dragon
honestly,
Ball or whatever,
okay.
and then they just talk to me like, oh, these two guys fucking. I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, so if anyone is listening as a Fujoshi, and you want to be on the podcast and just like explain to us like the subculture, I would love to know. Like I think that's like super neat.
So, I think
like,
I know some people. I might have to ask them out.
I would love. Let's do like a Q&A panel. I think that would be super cool because like I loved the concept of like I was so confused at first because the ships were the same, and then I realized they were talking about like who the top and who the bottom was. Like. Then they even had a disagreement about the role of the top and the bottom in like the power dynamic of the couple. And just like, I don't know, I don't really like ship things, but if I did, it's basically like, I like it when this person and this person date. There's like, that's it. That's all. So I like the idea of like how you figure all of that out and like put it together. And then, I think it's neat. I liked learning about that. I thought that was cool. So
As someone who is in the anime culture a lot, it is such a prevalent thing. It's insane. I don't know if I've ever met one like girl who's like really into anime who wasn't also like a giant boy love person. It seems to be like a correlation between those two, and it's a really interesting culture. It doesn't do anything for me, so I don't really like explore it. But it's like it's really really interesting. It's this subculture inside of another culture type of thing.
yeah, I would love for someone to tell me about it. I'm not gonna dig myself, but I would love to like ask questions and learn.
Same.
It's,
That'd be really interesting.
I agree. Okay. So, I guess we normally do like best girl, best
You want to
boy.
do best? Yeah, we could do that. Or
Okay,
like,
let's do it. I mean, there's like
Characters to
or
choose
maybe
from.
like
Three-
best character, maybe.
um.
Nah.
Okay. Let's give. Yeah,
This
let's
is
do best character. Let's do best
There's
character.
only like 6 characters. to choose
Yeah,
from.
there's like 6 characters, and like 2 of them are pretty tertiary.
They show up
Um,
for they show up for like what, 20 minutes of screen time at most.
Yeah, so let's do best character. And then if no one else has anything to talk about, we can wrap up,
think
get
it's a
final
good idea.
ratings and stuff, and go. Okay, awesome. So Johnny, best character.
Okay, I think my best character is Hanako. I like her I like her like way she reacts to, like the otaku culture. It's like and like how excited she gets over stuff and how like, she's a cosplayer. I thought that was really neat. I honestly don't have much else to say on it. So,
Okay, I'm
yeah, I'm
happy.
just gonna move on.
So my best character would be Nifuji. I like how accepting he is. That's about it.
Okay, Pete.
My favorite character is Hirotaka or Nifuji because he's essentially me. Because I really liked how he presented himself as like, yeah, I'm an otaku. Like I don't care what you think about me because that's essentially how I live my life too. And I really liked that. I really resonated with him. I literally felt like I was this character because like he's a salary man. I'm a I guess I'd be like a salary man if you took my title and put it into Japanese. He plays games at work. I read manga at work and stuff like that. So I really resonated with him. Really enjoyed his character. I thought it was like a really good like interpretation of like being otaku. I wish he was a little bit normal because he seems like a really smart guy and can like understand social cues. It's just some other like iffy relationship aspects that felt like he would like a 16-year-old would be, aka me, because that's how I felt when he's actually like 26. So just some minor things, but I thought he was like a really good character and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so he's my favorite character too. He sucks at a lot of things, but he's like pretty open about sucking at them, and is like aware that like he needs to work on those things. And I think that's like a giant step of like being a good character, is like admitting your faults and everything. I like that he's open about who he is, and I think he's sort of giving this whole thing, which is like a little bit of a step outside of his comfort zone, like a good honest try, and that is an admirable thing to do. Okay, so that is what I have to say. So we'll do final thoughts and scoring.
Yeah, so
Next.
yeah,
Okay.
Johnny, do you want to start?
I guess I can. So yeah, like the show. Like I don't think I hated it like Miles probably did. Like I don't think
I
it's
hated it.
yeah. But like I said like dislike. I didn't really dislike it. Like I don't know. It's just there. Like I like watching it. I guess it just doesn't do too much for me. Like I can't relate to the characters too well. There's no character development and. I don't know, I just don't really feel anything after watching it. So I think I'm just gonna give it a 7. Like it's nothing too special for me, but I definitely see the appeal.
All right, Happy, your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Johnny where I enjoyed the show, but it's nothing special. It's what it is. So I think I'll just give it a 6.
All right, Miles, you want to go next?
Yeah. So, God, there are parts of the show I really like, and I'd be talking about them. And as I was talking about the things I liked, I remembered another terrible thing about their relationship that I thought was stupid and ridiculous. Um, I just feel like the focus of the show was on the relationships for the most part, or it attempted to be, and that those were the weakest part of the show. The trappings around that, some of the work life, their friendships, the nerd culture and stuff is fantastic. But God, I just didn't like the relationships. I think I'm gonna give the show a 6 out of 10.
Okay. And then for me, if you are interested in reading more Wotakoi, the manga covers volumes 1 and 2, as you can see on the screen if you're watching. And currently 3 and 4 are also out, so you got essentially another season of content out. Especially if you are a fan of Nao and Ku, their relationship is much broadened in the manga, which I am a big fan of because they are by far the best. I'll put in quotes couple because they're not really a couple yet in the manga, but I'm assuming they're going to be. I love the show. I love the otaku aspect of it. I like that it's exploring something that's not typically seen in other romance anime. As somebody who is a giant romance anime fan, the lack of adult romance is super, like, it's a desert. Like, there's 3 that are like even have like a 7 or higher on Mal. And I think this one might be like the highest rated adult romance. It's either that or like His and Her Circumstances. It's like whatever, but like as an anime fan, as a romance fan, we gotta take what we get. And I love this. Love the references. I love the character dynamic between Hirotaka and Narumi towards the end, and it's definitely explored more in the manga. And I think the manga is one of my favorite manga out there. So I definitely feel like this is saying more towards the manga than the anime. But just the anime in general, like I said, it hooked me like right away. I have a lot of fun watching it. I love just the stupid shit that they do. Just like playing games is fun to me. Like I enjoy watching that. It's serotonin in my system. I'm giving it a 9, but I definitely see, like, I don't have, like, if someone gave it like a 5 and I don't really like watch this type of stuff, like I completely understand. I just feel like the more involved you are in this community, the better that this show is. So I completely understand all of your guys' views. Just to me, it resonates more, and that's why I give it a higher score.
Coincidentally, I feel like the manga sounds like it's good.
The manga is great. It's so good.
Like, like if what you're saying is true and we see them like develop romantically to like any extent throughout like this first season, then a lot of my faults with it would probably go away. Like, I mean, I could see me putting it at like an 8 or something like that. So like, that's yeah. I don't think the 9 is like. I'm not going to just
of all the manga that I have read, the only 2 shows where I'm like, you need to read the manga instead of watch the show are Berserk and Wotakoi. Like, I think everything else is pretty comparable. Especially
and the third one is the quintessential quintuplets.
Well, I haven't read that yet, but I'll take your word for it.
The anime's not done yet. So.
It's irrelevant because the stuff before it exists. Anyways, regardless, we're not talking about quints. So that brings our rating of Wotakoi, Love is Hard to Talk to a 7 flat. So what does it have on Malpete?
A 7.96, so about an 8. So we're about a point lower.
So we are. This is pretty low for us. We normally are right around where Mal is, except for Nambaka. And so
I feel like I think Pat said like he would have given it an 8, and I'm pretty sure Kat has it at like a 9 as well. So I feel like if those 2 were here, it would probably be pretty close to an 8.
And if Tyler had showed up, Violet Evergarden would have been higher than Ping Pong.
That's true.
You know what they say. Horseshoes and hand grenades. No, I think that so Pat said he would put it at an 8. We'll do this for fun. And then let's just call Kat an 8 as well, just out of safety.
I mean, I guess I could look at it as Mal if we needed to.
That's true. Okay, that brings it to a 7.3, and then a 9 from Thing would bring it to a 7.5.
Okay. Still like a half a point
pretty close.
Lower.
But that gets up to more reasonable sort of thing. I think that with our current cast today, we just sort of had a little sway against this type of show.
And that happens.
Yeah, so it's time, I believe, to learn what we'll be watching next week. Is that correct? Is that I didn't miss a segment?
You're the moderator, so you tell me.
We have segments. I don't want to. Usually Pat does this part.
So you'll tell us what we'll be watching 2 weeks from now, and then we'll do our nominations.
Okay. So in a very strong third place, we had Elfen Lied. In a second place, we had a show called Drifters. And the winning show, drum roll please as I pull it up on Mal, is Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Oh, let's go.
So
I actually got a show that won.
you did. So
How many months have I been here for? Like,
is this your first show that's won?
yeah.
Okay.
Congrats,
Wow.
Johnny.
Good job.
Let's
I'm glad it's
go.
good. So the genres are action, comedy, superpower, supernatural, vampire, fantasy, shonen.
Like, honestly, I have no idea what the show's about. I nominated just for the ED.
Okay, so this should be. It seems fun. Honestly, I bet I'm gonna hate it, but it looks like it's gonna be a great time. So there we go. For nominations for next week, we're gonna keep at it. One Day to Tommy Galaxy will win, and I'm gonna put it up there. You know, that's a romance. It's, I think, the highest rated romance on Mal. So
It's really high, yeah.
yeah, if you wanted a
Romance
romance
Warhire.
with I don't know,
They're
It's
pretty close. I think Tatami
Yeah.
Galaxy is like an 8.7 or something.
But yeah, it's possibly Love is War. Then Pat, who couldn't make it because of internet problems, wanted to nominate Now and Then, Here and There.
Oh, again?
Again, yes, I believe what he said was, and I quote, "I'm going to nominate this show again because I'm tired of modern shows, LOL." So that's that. Johnny, you can't re-up for the first time. What do we got?
Oh, I can't re-up a show that I previously.
No, you
nominated.
meant
Well, you
Blood-
can't re-up the show you did last week because it won.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, okay. So it's funny because I was scared because I was gonna re-up a show that I nominated previously. I was like, wait, there's a rule against that. I'm glad there's not. So I'm gonna be re-upping Chunibyo. I don't care that I've seen it again. I'm nominating this because I want other people to see it because like I have a feeling you looking at it makes me think like, oh god, what kind of fucking show is this?
It's awful.
Trust me, it's not awful.
It's
better than
awful.
you think it.
I give it
You're
a.
the one who said it's good, Pete.
I think I have it as a 4. I'm pretty sure I
The
have it as a 4.
Chunibyo, you have it as a 4?
Hey, go to Happy and I will
He
let you know.
hates the.
I hate Chunibyo.
DBO, except for
I
Megami.
thought you said it was
Happy.
I thought
Go
you said
ahead.
it was good.
No. Megami's different because she actually has powers.
You also like
All
Saki
right.
K. We're gonna ignore all this.
Saki K has powers.
His friend.
Oh,
Happy, go.
Oh, Nendo, yeah. Or the other guy, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be topical and nominate something that has its second season airing, and I'm going to nominate The Promised Neverland.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Season 1, Promised Neverland.
I have Chunibyo at a 5, by the way. I have it at an average. I am going to nominate my same show since I got a legacy point. I'm going to nominate Drifters.
Okay. And that is all of our nominations. So, as always, if you want to participate in this, you can come to our Discord. It'll be in the dibbly-doo below. You can vote for shows. You can talk to us about the shows. You can make a YouTube comment and vote for shows. We love audience feedback. We've recently been getting some votes from people who just watch, and it's been super duper cool. And so thank you guys for voting, and also if anyone else wants to participate in any way, please vote. We love it. So that's all. Pete, if you want to take us away.
Can't say enough. We made Watch Club for us to discuss, but for you to also interact with us within our Discord. We have a channel for it. If you can watch along with us, discuss along with us. It's really great. We got a couple new people joining our Discord doing it with us. So shouts to everybody who has been coming in that's new or old. We appreciate every member that we have. Like Miles said, I'll have the link in the description below. Come on and join us. Otherwise, next week we will be doing our 3x3 episode, kind of it's like a get to know ya type of thing, and our journey through anime. You can do anything you want with it. It's going to be really fun. And then, other than that, the next Watch Club in 2 weeks, we'll be watching Blood Blockade Battlefront. So we'll see you then. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye.
Yep.